Welcome to City Corner, an ongoing program where we talk with City Council and staff about what's going on in our community. I'm Hollie Logan, and joining us today is City Council member Brad Anderson. Welcome, Brad.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I just wanted to start off by just asking you, how long have you lived in Richland and
I was born.
in the community?
I've been here for a long time. I was born here, right down the street.
Really?
Before the high rise and the parking garage.
Right.
So I've been here a long time. I was raised here, a couple spells of being gone, a total of about 5 years, but the majority of my life has been here, which is, been very exciting, having the history, seeing where the community was when I was younger.
Sure,
and
yeah.
through all the phases and what it's doing now, and being able to participate in some of that growth at this level has been just incredible.
That's great. Great. So you have been on City Council since November of 2011, and you've recently been elected for a second term. How have your views of municipal, one more time, Mike. You've been on City Council. Look at him. Okay. So you've been on City Council since November 2011, recently being elected for a second term. How have your views of municipal government changed since being elected?
Well, my views as a whole of our government here have not changed that much. It's our processes are the same for the most part. Mm-hmm. The way things get done, the way we handle them, the processes of how you get things moving, the steps you take. That view has not changed, and I think we do a very good job here in Richland of being very calculated and mm-hmm. Go through all the steps necessary and take our time to make sure that the product we're putting out there and the things that we're doing, the direction we're going in are the right ones. Mm-hmm. Now, it's not always right in the view of everybody, but
sure.
It's for the vast majority I feel that's what we do. Where my views have changed a little bit is I guess it's more of the public involvement. People understandably want to be more involved, and they want to go through, have this long public process, which we do and always have done, and then we're very transparent, we're out there, we get the message out there, but things have changed. And the process, social media and people's reactions, and one word can trigger things to change. Mm-hmm. And so my views on our government have changed a little bit. It's not just here, it's everywhere, is that the public has always been involved. But now there could be a single person, whether in our community, in a neighboring community, from the west side of the state, somebody can drop a little phrase or a word or say one little thing, and then there's just this storm. And then it starts to spiral out of control. And I feel now, my view on it has changed a little bit, that I'm a little more, try to be a little more calculated.
Sure.
And for a person like me who just likes to, speak my mind, and,
mm-hmm.
It's become a little more challenging for me. And so the process that we have gone through, I think as it moves on, my fear is that it's going to be even more robotic and more calculated. And as it relates to public relations for council members, mm-hmm. which is a very scary thing to me, but because it's we've seen and have gone through a couple times where things get drummed up and it's not, the facts aren't all there,
taken out of context.
Yes, and once it's out there, now you're in damage control.
Mm-hmm.
Damage control for an accident that hasn't really happened, mm-hmm. and it's and because of that, public records requests and things that are going on. And the way, and it's not just here, it's how government is changing. So it's my view on it is I'm a little more cautious.
Sure.
And a little more scared. It's you always want to do the best thing, but now I take a little longer before I make any step, just because I'm thinking of the 1,000 things that people could interpret and how
right.
you were able to handle it.
Right, I can appreciate that. So prior to City Council, you served on the Parks and Recreation Commission, and so you would say quality of life is an important issue for you. How do you balance the need for quality of life amenities with the constraints that the council does face?
That's a hard one,
mm-hmm.
and that's my experience on parks, and there's a few of us that have been on the Parks Commission that have come through, and and I thought, I mean, obviously, the public sees that too. Being on that commission really can prep you for being on council. And I think it's because our parks are so important to the community here. And people get vocal. And people come out and they tell you how they feel. And they don't hold back and they just unleash. And I love it. I think it's fantastic. And then there's times though on council, I'm sitting there and like, we're passing these things these are big things that are passing, whether it be for transportation and, all these bigger projects, big picture ideas and things that are going on that people use every day and they're critical, whether, our utilities and all these things, and nobody says anything. It's just kind of, okay, that's okay. People appreciate it until there's potholes, then people speak up. So here, every time we plan and do these things, having been on parks, I'm thinking, man, we're just going to get hit, and we're going to get hit hard with all these things coming up, all these questions, and the people are going to be filling council chambers, and it hasn't really happened until it comes back into parks, and which tells me that the people, we do a good job of maintaining our roads, and it's just okay. Let's just keep going. Let's keep the costs down and not hit our taxpayers with, keep increasing everything. Let's try to do the best we can, which we do. Feel that we do a great job with that. But the parks and having that experience and quality of life, and that tells me that quality of life is huge.
It is.
Very, very important thing. And it's those things, the things that are visible and that are going out and using them, and they're very dear to the people here. And how you control that, and I've been a big person that, when we're wanting to raise money and everybody's wanting to build these new parks and do all these things, and that's fantastic. That's great. Me, if we were to, hey, we need to raise money for something, maintenance.
Yeah, maintaining them.
Yeah, I'm the kind of guy that's like, well, hey, let's increase the budget there to make sure that everything we do have is maintained at a very, very high level. Because the people see it, they love it, and it's, the quality of life's huge here. And that's where it's hard, is money that you have available here's what you have. And you could always, like our federal government is like, well, we just need to tax more.
Right.
Not sure that's going to sit well here. That we can give you everything you want, but just give us all your money.
Right.
We're not going to do that. So where I see it comes down to, this will lead into another topic of, it comes down to the person. So much of this maintaining quality of life is going to come down to the person. And our code enforcement efforts that we're starting to take as a city, that goes into that realm. And, this whole quality of life, it extends beyond what the city can do. So we have limits as a council with budgets and things that we can do, and public land versus private land, and all these things going on. So much of it's going to come down to the people. And the people do care. They do like it. But there are some areas where we've seen some slipping.
Sure.
And the quality of life is big, and it's very important. And I think there's a tie there with code enforcement, with maintaining what we have, and there's things that we can do without raising taxes, with keeping it where we're at. There is room for improvement.
Right, and avoiding those people who don't appreciate them as much and don't take as good a care of the facilities too. That's always a challenge. Yeah. Switching gears a little bit, Richland has seen quite a lot of accomplishments in the Swift Corridor Master Plan, and construction seems to be everywhere. We also have the new stage at John Dam Plaza. We're getting ready to build the new City Hall. How is the city doing, and what can the city do to continue spurring the growth?
The city as a whole has done fantastic, and this goes into these long-term pictures. Why I think Richland is so good, our processes are so good, and ties back into the first question too, the whole social media thing, and when a little topic comes up and it's a hot one and everybody jumps on it, we can't lose sight of the plan that we already put in place. Now, plans can be changed slightly, tweaked, modified as time goes by. The Legacy Park towards Horn Rapids would be a good example of that.
Sure.
That's been master planned now 5-6 years, and it's going to take a long time. It could take a long time before that's built. Now, when it gets to that point, we might have to make some changes to that master plan. people change, things change, sports change. What's the emphasis? What do the people want? So with Swift Corridor, it's a long time coming. These things have been put into place for a long time, and the city of Richland, past councils, current council, and hopefully future councils will continue to hold tight to this vision and this plan. And it involves so much. It involves Dupertail Bridge. The things that are happening out there will affect here.
Right.
Will affect the whole flow.
Connectivity
the waterfront
between,
development. There's all these things, all these pieces that go together to get us where we want to go in the end. And things that have happened here have been fantastic, and it's holding tight to the vision and not getting too off course by things that get drummed up, and staying true to it. And it's always been a vision that if you do certain things, other things will happen. And that's, with economic development, that can be brought up and talked about, and one person has an idea, another person has an idea, and just like with, our current presidential race, one person's idea for economic growth is a lot different from another person's.
Right.
So with us, we have a limited role with that. How can we sell certain pieces of land that we own, change things around to benefit and make things grow and be better? The stage at John Dan Plaza with the Live at 5, people are wanting to get out and walk. That was something that was identified a long time ago. Even when I was on parks, people
walkability.
Wanted to make it more walkable. And you're seeing a change with people, with a lot of the younger generations. They're wanting to park and then walk. And sometimes not even park, maybe come by bus, maybe come by bike, a little more mobile and moving around. So how do you do that? It's all these, you start doing small things, which within our limits. So we make a couple changes at John Dan Plaza, and then it's 3 years later we get a stage. It takes time. And then all the development here, when we annexed part of the street on Goethals, it was a hot topic. A lot of people wanted to hold on to that street, couldn't imagine living without it. And you have to take that step. You have to look at the long-term picture. Getting rid of that portion, that small portion of the street, as it turns out, wasn't that big of an impact. We're doing good without it. Traffic is still flowing, and now look what's happened. Look at the development that's going on at Cadillac. That brings on other growth. And then WSU, CBC, and restaurants to serve the people who work there, to serve the patients that are going in there. It all starts, it's a chain reaction and starts to take off. And a lot of that it all started with a master plan, a vision. And so much of what's happening down the street is affecting what's happening across the street with the new restaurants. And it all started with getting rid of a small section of land. That's not the only thing, but a small section of street, which was a roadblock. It was a roadblock for a while for council. A lot of the people just, we're not going to do it, we're not going to do it, we can't get rid of that section of street. That little tiny thing was potentially holding up all of what's going on. Once that happened, everything just started to click and started to flow. And moving forward, it becomes an issue of, well, now how do you limit the growth, not limit it, but direct it and guide it into a form that doesn't get too much to where you get into a problem with traffic and things that are going on. And we're already seeing that, and we're proposing solutions for all these changes and all the traffic flow on G-Way and the bypass, and there's where Dupertail Bridge comes in, and connecting the two parts of the city. Everything is being done. A lot of it's all being done for the benefit of Richland. But so much of that effort and what we've done down here, even extending that far out, is to impact the central business district. Because this is vital to our health of our city, and the whole Tri-Cities obviously is benefiting. Howard Amon Park, John Dan Plaza, we're doing big things here.
Right. Yeah, and it's exciting to see that a plan that was created, nearly 10 years ago, if not even further, is being executed, and that the strategy behind it has played such a big role, and it's successful. That's great. Speaking about the waterfront, Council has directed the city manager and staff to increase emphasis on the waterfront district, and we have a consultant who recently completed a study earlier this year. Where are we at in this process, and what are the council's goals for the waterfront district?
Well, for this question, I'll speak on behalf of myself only. I won't speak for the city or council. This is one of those topics. This is one of the hot button issues. It's not only involves our central business district, things that are going to happen there. Waterfront development through Howard Airman Park, that is the heart of the city.
It is.
And if you poke that with even a tiniest little stick, it is felt across the whole entire city. So it's very, very important piece of land, and it's something that we need to watch closely. So this whole development process, and it's been a long time coming, and it's a scary one, but an exciting one, and of what could be and things and how this could shape our city. And in my opinion, the decisions we make along that waterfront will impact and push out. It'll be one of those things that it'll be like what's happening at Catholic. It's going to be one of those things that's going to bring about so much more positive growth, and the type of growth. And and the goal is not to be a big city and with high rises and just be this crazy
Like
city.
urban sprawl, right?
The goal is to have a functioning city that benefits all of the people and gives everybody everything that they want, close to.
Right.
You can never have everything you want,
Right,
but
right.
people want to have that beautiful park. They want to have a walkable city. They want to have access to shopping. They want to have access to restaurants. We can only do so much. We're not in the business of business. I don't want any part of that. I don't want to be selling anything. I don't want to be doing that stuff. That is for private business. All we can do is to kind of help build a grid, an idea, a platform, and they need to come in and do it. I don't want to be building buildings and doing all that stuff. So when it comes to that waterfront development, sometimes, the process we've taken is public involvement. We're hearing from the public. People in the private sector here, we're hearing from them. And we hired an outside consultant. Now, this process that we've taken has got there was a little bit of backlash with one of the issues, the current development, proposed development. And this outside consultant there was some criticism towards that. And me personally thought that I was a little surprised at that, the critical attack on him. If we live here, we're here all the time, it's hard for a lot of people to have a long-term vision because of, you're here, you're living, everything's good. I complain about the traffic. Well, we should people should stop driving so much. People, you can quickly throw out a solution that it can be sometimes hard to vision and hard to think that what could we do that could really change, positive change to help us in the future, help us 10 years from now, 15 years from now, if everything goes right, all these things happen. Sometimes it might be hard for people here, living here, whether you're on council, whether you're a citizen, wherever, and for city staff to really think big and think different, because what we've done so far, what we know, it's there, and we've made some small changes to it, but it's still not working. There's still some voids there. Things aren't clicking. Sometimes you have to do things a little different. I read a book once, and it's titled "What Got You Here Won't Get You There," and it's even for highly successful people. You've done something, and you've done it right, because look where you're at. Bam, bam, bam. You're just knocking things down. But sometimes you need something a little different to get to the next level. That's where I like bringing in an outside consultant, somebody who's not from here, somebody who's seen what works in other places and knows that if you look at a certain formula, something's there, what can you do to do that? When he came back with things that he was talking about and the visions, I could see it. I understood it. And my first thought was that I did understand it. I see what it could bring. I see what it could do. My next thought was, boy, this is going to be tough. This is going to be a tough sell. This is going to be hard. It's going to be.
There are a lot of hurdles.
There's a lot of hurdles.
Yes.
It's going to upset people. People are going to be scared. They're going to be worried. And change is always scary. And I'm not one for radical change. We have a good program here. Our city is going good. But to get to where we need to be and where the people really want to be, the public needs to keep an open mind. And things that appear the best might not be. But just take it slow and take little tiny baby steps. Just like taking out a short little chunk of a road, what that possibly could do. Don't always know the outcome, but you might have a pretty good idea.
Sure.
So that's my view on that.
Yeah.
I want to change, but I want it to be something that is driven by the public and what they want. I don't want to come out as a city and come out, we're building this, we're doing this, we're doing this. It might just be one small little thing that'll build, but as long as it's that one small little thing in the right direction instead of the wrong direction, then we're going to be doing good.
Yeah.
I think so far things are going in the right direction.
That balance of enforcement.
Yep.
Good. That's good to hear. You touched on the Dupertail corridor, and another major milestone recently happened when we broke ground on the phase 2 and phase 3 of the extension. And the city's on track for construction on the bridge in 2020. Is this going to resolve Richland's traffic congestion issues? I mean, you heard from our citizens survey recently that that's become more top of mind for some of our citizens, especially in South Richland and in Queensgate area. So,
will it solve all the problems? No. No. People's, the way people drive, what they do, new development, new growth in the north end of town, things are going to change. We can only do so much.
right.
We can't build a 5 lanes, one each direction, massive with, roundabouts and
Right.
on ramps and off ramps. It's just not possible. We can only do so much. So will it help a lot? Yeah, it's going to be huge. It will take away a lot of traffic problems. The majority of the people, and I drive that route every morning and come through that congestion. The majority of the people come out of South Richland and turn onto the freeway, and they loop right around and head out to Hanford. A lot of them do that. So a lot of that congestion is going to go away, and that's where it backs up. It's going to flow. It's going to be a smoother flow. It will take. I really do believe, and I mean not just my opinion. We've run models. The city actually does homework and runs models of traffic flows. It's going to be huge. This will be one of the biggest boosts to economic development that a city can do. This is one of those things. What can a city do? This is one of those things. We took out a section of one street. We're going to build another. This one's going to be so important to our vision. It's going to help with traffic problems. It's not going to solve them all. And it's the thing is we're going to keep growing. And it's complaining about traffic, and I complain about it a little bit. I'll get stuck in traffic and complain about it just because of my history here. So,
Sure. Yeah.
You grow up living in Richland, and 5 minutes gets you from the far reach to the other far reach.
Right. Now, but it's 20 minutes.
Yeah. Now it's a little longer.
Yeah.
So, which is fine by me because the trade-off is this city is a lot more than it ever used to be. I have more options. I have more things to do. I can go see live music. I can go out to a different restaurant, have a bigger selection, movie theaters, walking, the parks. It's different now. Everything comes with a little bit of a cost. And what we're doing, this is where I always kind of chuckle when it comes to too many complaints about traffic is caused because more people live here. The people want a higher quality of life. They want all these amenities. And we're making this a really beautiful city, which makes it really attractive for other people to come live in. So, which is okay by me. I like people to love our city and want to live here. And they're coming in here and they're building, and it's all positive growth, and it is structured. A lot of the places we've identified where housing developments are going in, the city has had a great involvement in it, and the Dupertail Bridge is going to be a massive impact to our community, not only in traffic flows, economic development, further growth on the south end. It's going to be a direct corridor into town. It's going to tie in the neighborhoods. It's going to bring our city closer together. It's going to make it easier for people to shop downtown Richland that live on the south end.
Right.
That can jump right across. It's like in the same neighborhood now.
And again, connecting to the waterfront, which
Yes.
is essentially
It's all going to tie it together. It will help with traffic flows. It's not going to solve all the traffic problems. That would be foolish to think that one road would get built
Right.
and it would solve all the problems. A lot of people would hope that would be the case. It's going to have a big impact. It's going to reduce traffic flows. It's going to be very important on many different levels, but it never will solve all the problems. Our waterfront redevelopment potential, along with the Dupertail Bridge, Swift corridor improvements, all those things, when done, coming together, will have a significant impact on our traffic. But those are those things that take time.
So as we get ready to close here, I just wanted to ask where you see the city in the next 10 years.
The next 10 years, to my vision and what I see and what I really truly believe the next 10 years is going to be extremely exciting. There's going to be changes, and it's not to say that we're going to be changing. It's going to be negative changes. The city council is making changes. It's happening right now, and our small involvement in it, it's small. You see the land transfer from DOE.
Right.
What that's going to do. You know the railroad that's already being used a lot more now. You have all that going on. The freezer that's already been built. You have other companies that are wanting to locate out there. These expansions and Lamb Weston's expanding, putting in a whole nother line. That's you see one thing, a freezer for potatoes and other products, but now they're going to expand their processing plant. That's going to create more jobs. It's changing. It's happening right now. To me, what I see that what's happening the next 10 years with everything we're talking about, with the waterfront development, building a new city hall, we'll have another fire station on the horizon. These things that are happening, Cadillac's going to be opened up, the parking garage is there. The next 10 years, in my opinion, what I see could bring significant change to this community. And it may not be complete, but it's going to be those small first steps, and it's going to be not something that we have to do, or that we want to do, but it's going to be a natural flow, because we're in the middle of it right now, and right now it's part push, like we want this, we want this, we want this, and then the other part it's holding on to the reins, so you don't get bucked off of it. It's exciting, and I really feel that the next 10 years are critical and could shape. They are going to shape, and it's how we shape them, how we control it. Not control it, but how we move with it, move with the private development, all the things that are going to be happening with the national park. These things are all clicking. They're coming right now. There's so many things going on from 5, 6, 7 different angles, and it's all, so much of it is focused and pointed right at Richland. A lot of things in the whole Tri-Cities, and so much of it is looking right at us. And we are going to be the gateway to a national park, and those things could be happening in the next 10 years. So I see big change, and it's
for the better.
It's for the better. It's for the better. It's people moving here. It's jobs. It's strong economic growth to where you have that, and we're going to do our part. I can guarantee that I'm going to do my part to maintain the quality of life, maintain the park enhancements. Everything is good and builds and moves with it to where nothing changes. It only gets better, and everybody's satisfied. And that's going to be my goal. And I know a lot of the every other council member feels that way. I tell you, you run for public office, you're not doing this for you.
Right.
I mean, so here I am on a camera again. You get beat up.
Yeah.
You get yelled at. You get some nasty emails. That's all part of the job. And I'll do it every day. And I want to do it. I want to do it every day. I want to be that person. This is my city. And every decision I make, it's not just for me. It's a lot bigger than that. It's not just for my family, for the people I know. It's for my community. This is my city. I was born here. And I was born in Cadillac. And to see that growth and see all these things happening in the national park and this development, it's exciting. And we're going to do the best we can to push it and guide it, that is under control, but not restrained, to where everybody's happy. Sounds complicated and complex, and it is. It's hard. And it's not always going to be smooth. Not everybody's going to be perfectly happy. There's going to be some people upset. But I hope that's kept to a minimum. But it's going to be an exciting ride, and big things are happening, whether we want them to or not. So it's either you get run over or you run with them, and we all come out in the end looking good. And that's my goal. And I think that's the goal of the city for sure.
Well, that's great. Future generations are going to reap the benefits as well. So
yes, they are.
That's great. So our thanks to Brad Anderson. Thank you for being here today with us, and thank you for joining us for City Corner. I'm Hollie Logan, and we'll see you next time.